Welcome back to TubeGeo. In this second installment of our series on potential disputes in Africa, we're exploring a development that's turning heads across the continent. Egyptian troops are on their way to Somalia. This significant move could reshape regional dynamics, prompting questions about Egypt's military strategy and its expanding role in the Horn of Africa. Join us as we delve into the aims behind this deployment, its potential impact on Somalia, and the broader geopolitical implications. You won't want to miss this in-depth analysis. Let's dive right in. What makes Egypt interested in Somalia? Somalia, perched on the easternmost edge of Africa, has long been a land of both opportunity and turmoil. Its extensive coastline along the Gulf of Aden and the Indian Ocean makes it a strategic gateway between Africa and the Middle East. Historically, Somalia was a vibrant center of commerce and culture, with ancient port cities like Mogadishu and Zila serving as crucial nodes and trade routes that connected East Africa to Arabia, Persia, and even as far as India and China. However, the nation's modern history took a dramatic turn in 1991. The central government collapsed following the overthrow of President Siad Barre. This event plunged Somalia into chaos, leading to a brutal civil war that fragmented the country along clan lines. Warlords carved out territories, and the absence of a unifying government gave rise to lawlessness and the proliferation of armed militias. The power vacuum also allowed extremist groups like Al-Shabaab to emerge. Al-Shabaab, which translates to the youth, capitalized on the instability to establish control over significant parts of southern Somalia. The group imposed strict interpretations of religious laws and carried out attacks both within Somalia and in neighboring countries, contributing to regional insecurity. The collapse of the central government had far-reaching consequences. Piracy off the Somalia coast surged, posing a significant threat to one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. Between 2008 and 2011, Somalia pirates carried out hundreds of attacks on commercial vessels, demanding hefty ransoms and disrupting global trade. The international community responded with naval patrols, but the underlying issues of poverty and disorder on land remained unaddressed. For Egypt, these developments are more than just regional concerns. They strike at the heart of its national interests. The Suez Canal, located at the northern end of the Red Sea, is a lifeline for Egypt's economy, generating billions of dollars in revenue annually. Any instability in the maritime routes leading to the canal could have severe economic repercussions. The threat of piracy, terrorism in the waters off Somalia directly affects the security of shipping lanes that are vital for global trade and for Egypt's economic well-being. Furthermore, Egypt and Somalia share historical and cultural ties, including membership in the Arab League. Strengthening relations with Somalia offers Egypt an opportunity to expand its influence in the Horn of Africa, a region that has become a focal point for international competition due to its strategic location in emerging markets. In addition to security concerns, Somalia's untapped natural resources present significant economic opportunities. Geological surveys suggest that Somalia has substantial reserves of oil, gas, and minerals. The international interest in these resources has grown, and Egypt sees the potential for investment and partnership in developing them. A stable Somalia could become a valuable ally and trading partner, enhancing Egypt's economic prospects. By deploying troops to Somalia, Egypt aims to support stabilization efforts, counter extremist groups, and secure its maritime interests. This move is a strategic calculation to protect its economic lifelines, expand its regional influence, and engage in the unfolding geopolitical dynamics of the Horn of Africa. Egypt's decision to deploy troops to Somalia is more than an act of bilateral cooperation. It's a strategic maneuver in a complex geopolitical landscape. The Horn of Africa has attracted attention from global and regional powers alike. Turkey has established a military base in Mogadishu, training Somali soldiers and investing in infrastructure projects. The United Arab Emirates has secured agreements over key ports like Berbera, enhancing its maritime influence. China's Belt and Road Initiative includes significant investments in Djibouti, just north of Somalia, where it has its first overseas military base. By entering Somalia, Egypt aims to assert its influence amidst this competitive environment. This move may also be interpreted as a counterbalance to Ethiopia's growing regional power, especially given the tensions over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, and given that Ethiopia's military engagements in Somalia against Al-Shabaab have solidified its presence in the country. Beyond its geographical location, Somalia holds a rich tapestry of historical and cultural ties, particularly with the Arab world. In 1974, Somalia became the first sub-Saharan African nation to join the Arab League. This membership was more than a political gesture. It was a recognition of the deep-rooted connections forged through centuries of trade, religion, and intermarriage between Somalis and Arabs. Coastal cities of Somalia were integral parts of ancient maritime trade networks. Goods like gold, ivory, and frankincense flowed from Africa to the Arabian Peninsula, while Islam spread to Somalia from the Middle East in the 7th century, becoming a unifying element of Somalia identity. The Somali language, while Cushitic in origin, incorporates numerous Arabic loanwords, reflecting this long-standing interaction. For Egypt, a founding member of the Arab League, bolstering ties with Somalia strengthens pan-Arab solidarity, extends its influence into the Horn of Africa. Collaborative initiatives can enhance cultural exchange, economic cooperation, and political alignment within the League. On the economic front, Somalia's maritime resources are not just abundant, they're potentially extremely lucrative. The country's exclusive economic zone, EEZ, spans over 825,000 square kilometers of the Indian Ocean, encompassing some of the richest fishing grounds globally. According to estimates by the World Bank, Somalia's fishing industry has the potential to generate up to $1 billion annually. However, due to inadequate infrastructure and enforcement, the country currently earns a fraction of this amount, with significant losses, estimated at $300 million per year due to illegal, unreported, and unregulated IUU fishing by foreign vessels. In addition to fisheries, Somalia's offshore waters are believed to possibly contain substantial oil and gas reserves. The Somali government has signed exploratory agreements with international energy companies. While exact figures are speculative, some estimates suggest that offshore basins could hold up to 100 billion barrels of oil. If realized, this would position Somalia among the top oil-rich nations, potentially generating billions of dollars in revenue annually. Moreover, securing these resources is strategically important. The waters of Somalia are part of critical international shipping lanes. Ensuring safety and security in these areas protects Somalia's economic interests, but also global trade routes that are vital for Egypt's Suez Canal operations. The deployment of Egyptian troops to Somalia has set off alarm bells in neighboring countries. Ethiopia, already cautious given the GERD dispute, may view this as a threat. Ethiopia's own internal conflicts, such as those in Tigray and Oromia, make it sensitive to external pressures. The perception that Egypt is surrounding Ethiopia could lead to heightened military readiness or even aggressive posturing along borders. Kenya, which has its own military presence in Somalia under the African Union Mission in Somalia, AMISOM, might see Egypt's move as a challenge to its influence and efforts to stabilize the region. There could be competition over leadership roles in counterterrorism and peacekeeping operations, potentially causing friction between these nations. Somalia's federal government may welcome Egyptian support, but regional states within Somalia might be skeptical. These semi-autonomous regions of Puntland and Somaliland have their own foreign relations and could resist what they perceive as Egyptian interference. This could exacerbate internal divisions and complicate Somalia's path to unity and stability. Egypt's actions in Somalia have caught the eye of global powers. The United States, which conducts counterterrorism operations and supports AMISOM, may have concerns about coordination and the risk of conflicting agendas. Russia, seeking to expand its influence in Africa, might see Egypt's moves as an opportunity to strengthen ties with Cairo, or as competition in its own strategic endeavors. China's investments in the region, particularly in infrastructure and trade through the Belt and Road Initiative, could be affected. If Egypt's presence leads to instability, it might jeopardize China's projects. Alternatively, Egypt and China could find common ground in promoting regional stability to protect their mutual interests. International bodies like the United Nations and the African Union may need to reassess their strategies in Somalia. Egypt's unilateral military involvement could complicate ongoing peacekeeping and humanitarian efforts, requiring diplomatic negotiations to align objectives and prevent overlap or conflict. Political scenarios ahead. Looking forward, several scenarios could unfold. In a positive light, Egypt's involvement might bolster efforts against militant groups, contributing to regional security and economic development. Collaborative efforts with other nations and organizations could lead to a more stable Horn of Africa, benefiting all parties involved. Conversely, there's a risk of escalating tensions leading to proxy conflicts. Ethiopia might deepen alliances with rivals of Egypt or increase its military activities in response. Internal Somali politics could become more fragmented, with different regions aligning with various foreign powers, undermining national cohesion. Another possibility is that global powers might intensify their involvement, either to support their allies or to protect their interests. This could transform local disputes into international standoffs, making resolutions more complex. As Egyptian troops prepare to set foot in Somalia, the Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads. This development could either pave the way for enhanced cooperation and stability, or trigger a chain reaction of rivalries and conflicts. The coming months will be critical in determining which path the region will take. We want to hear from you. Do you think Egypt's military deployment will bring positive change to Somalia and the region? Or are we on the brink of increased tensions? Share your insights in the comments below. If you found this analysis informative, please like, share, and subscribe to TubeGeo for more deep dives into global geopolitics. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.